My name is Catherine Williams, and I'm watching my identical twin sister Emma walk down the aisle in my wedding dress, towards my fiancé, pretending to be me. She thinks she's pulled off the perfect deception, stealing my life while I was working overseas. But in about 20 minutes, everyone in this lavish $300,000 wedding is going to learn exactly who the real Catherine is. Let me take you back to where this all began. Being an identical twin isn't like what you see in movies. Emma and I may have looked exactly alike, but we couldn't have been more different. While I worked hard to build a career in international humanitarian law, Emma drifted between jobs and relationships, always looking for shortcuts to success. "Why work so hard when you're already perfect?" she would say, using our identical appearance to charm her way through life. Being beautiful is enough. But it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to make a real difference in the world. That's how I met James Harrison, a brilliant human rights attorney who shared my passion for justice. We fell in love over late-night discussions about international law and dreams of changing the world. When James proposed after 2 years of dating, it felt like everything in my life was finally falling into place. Emma seemed happy for me. She even offered to help plan the wedding while I was away on a 6-month assignment with the United Nations in Geneva. "You focus on saving the world," she said with what I thought was sincere sisterly affection. "I'll make sure your wedding is perfect." I should have known better. Emma had never done anything for anyone unless there was something in it for her. The first sign that something was wrong came 2 months into my assignment. My best friend Maria sent me a strange message asking why I hadn't told her I was back from Geneva. When I explained that I was still in Switzerland, she sent me a photo that made my blood run cold. Emma and James at a restaurant, looking very much like a couple. "But that's you," Maria insisted. "You've been back for weeks. You've been planning the wedding, going to parties, posting on social media." That's when I discovered that Emma had completely taken over my life. She had told James that my assignment had ended early, then used our identical appearance to step right into my place. She had even managed to hack my social media accounts, posting updates that made it seem like I was back home. My first instinct was to call James immediately and expose her deception. But then I remembered something our grandmother used to say. Sometimes you have to let a thief fill their pockets before you catch them. Instead of confronting them, I decided to watch and document everything. I created a private email account and asked Maria to be my eyes and ears, recording every event, every conversation, every detail of Emma's deception. What I discovered was shocking. Emma hadn't just stolen my fiancé. She had completely reimagined my wedding, turning what was supposed to be a meaningful celebration into a grotesque display of excess. The intimate garden ceremony James and I had planned was scrapped in favor of a $300,000 extravaganza at the city's most exclusive venue. "Catherine has had a change of heart," she told our confused family and friends. "Working with the UN has shown me the importance of celebrating life's precious moments." She used James's credit cards to order a $50,000 designer dress, hired celebrity photographers, and booked a famous band for the reception. The simple, ethical dinner menu we had chosen was replaced with imported delicacies and rare wines. James, who had fallen in love with my dedication to making the world better, somehow didn't question this complete personality transformation. He seemed enchanted by this new Catherine, who shared his wealthy family's taste for luxury and social status. "You seem different," he told her during one recorded conversation. "But maybe this is who you really are when you're not trying to save the world." Every detail Maria sent me felt like a knife in my heart. Emma wasn't just stealing my fiancé, she was erasing everything I was, everything James and I had meant to each other. She was turning our love story into a shallow society wedding. But I kept quiet and continued gathering evidence. Videos, photos, witness statements. Everything that proved Emma had deliberately deceived James and everyone else. I even documented the money she had secretly transferred from James's accounts to her own. The hardest part was watching her post on my social media, sharing our engagement photos and wedding plans. She played the role of the devoted humanitarian taking a break to plan her dream wedding, while I was actually helping refugees access legal services in Geneva. As the wedding day approached, I put the final pieces of my plan into place. I arranged my return flight to arrive the morning of the ceremony, giving Emma no chance to prevent my appearance. I prepared a video presentation documenting her deception. From the first day, she pretended to be me right up to the morning of the wedding. Most importantly, I had Maria help me secure a seat in the front row, close enough to see every detail of Emma's perfect day fall apart. The wedding day arrives bright and clear. The venue, an exclusive country club, has been transformed into a fairy tale setting that would have made me uncomfortable, but is perfectly Emma. Everything is over-the-top expensive, from the 1,000 white roses to the crystal chandeliers hanging from specially constructed pavilions. I slip into the ceremony just as it's about to begin, wearing a simple blue dress that makes me instantly recognizable as not the bride. Several guests do double takes, but the wedding planner is already cueing the music, and no one has time to process what they're seeing. The bridal march begins, and Emma appears in my obscenely expensive wedding dress, beaming at her perfect deception. She's so focused on her grand entrance that she doesn't notice me sitting in the front row, right next to the audiovisual equipment Maria helped me set up. James stands at the altar, looking handsome but somehow wrong. This isn't the man I fell in love with, who shared my dreams of making a difference. This is someone who has been seduced by a fantasy version of me. The minister begins. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. I wait until Emma reaches the altar, until she's standing next to James in front of all 300 guests. Then I press play on my laptop. The video begins to play on the massive screens set up for the ceremony. First, security footage showing Emma entering my apartment the day she began her deception. Then, clips of her practicing my mannerisms, my voice, my way of walking. I'm the real Catherine, her voice rings out in the recording. She'll be in Geneva for months. No one will ever know. The crowd gasps as the evidence unfolds. Photos showing the real me in Geneva at the same time Emma was pretending to be me here. Bank statements revealing her theft from James's accounts. Social media posts she had doctored to maintain her lie. Emma freezes at the altar, her perfect mask cracking as she realizes her deception is exposed. James stumbles backward, staring between the two of us as understanding dawns. Catherine, he whispers, looking at me, the real me, with dawning horror. I stand up slowly, letting everyone see the truth. Yes, James. I'm the real Catherine Williams. The woman you're about to marry is my twin sister Emma, and she's been lying to you for 6 months. The room erupts in chaos. Guests start shouting and taking photos. Emma's carefully constructed fantasy crumbles around her as James backs away from her in disgust. How could you, he demands. How could you pretend to be her for so long? Emma tries to salvage the situation, turning on the charm that has always gotten her out of trouble. James, darling, I can explain. I fell in love with you. Catherine was gone, and you needed someone who could give you the life you deserve. The life I deserve? James's voice is cold. I fell in love with Catherine because she cared about making the world better, not about planning perfect weddings and impressing society. You didn't just lie about who you were. You tried to erase everything that made me love her. Security arrives to escort Emma out as she breaks down, screaming about how she deserves this perfect life more than I do. The guests begin to leave, whispering and taking photos that will no doubt end up all over social media. James approaches me slowly, his face a mask of shame and regret. I should have known, he says quietly. You, the real you, would never have abandoned your work to plan some obscene society wedding. I let myself be seduced by a fantasy. Yes, you did, I reply. The man I fell in love with would have seen through her act immediately. He would have known that I would never value expensive things over making a difference. The aftermath is exactly what you'd expect. Emma faces criminal charges for fraud and identity theft. The evidence I gathered proves she stole over $200,000 from James's accounts while pretending to be me. James tries to apologize, to explain how Emma's deception fooled him. But something fundamental has broken between us. The man who couldn't tell that his fiancé had been replaced by someone with completely different values isn't the person I thought he was. I'll pay back everything she spent, he offers. We can start over, have the simple wedding we originally planned. But some things can't be fixed with money. Some betrayals run too deep to heal. Epilogue. 5 years have passed since that dramatic wedding day. Emma served 18 months in prison for fraud and is now working as a waitress, her dreams of an easy life finally replaced by the reality of having to earn her own way. James went on to marry someone more suited to his newfound taste for luxury. A society girl who genuinely enjoys the kind of lavish lifestyle Emma had pretended I wanted. They seem happy in their world of charity galas and social media posts. As for me, I continued my work in international humanitarian law, making real changes in the world instead of just planning perfect parties. Last year, I won a major case at the International Criminal Court, helping bring justice to thousands of refugees. I'm engaged again, to someone who knows exactly who I am and loves me for it. We're planning a small wedding in the garden of a refugee center, where we both volunteer. The entire event will cost less than the flowers at Emma's failed spectacle, but it will be real and meaningful, just like our relationship. Emma and I have a distant but civil relationship now. Prison changed her, forced her to confront the person she had become. Sometimes she comes to hear me speak at law conferences, sitting quietly in the back, watching me live the life I built through hard work instead of deception. "I thought I could become you by looking like you," she told me recently. "But I finally understand that who you are has nothing to do with appearance." The video from that wedding day became a viral sensation, spawning countless discussions about identity, authenticity, and the difference between appearance and reality. People still occasionally recognize me as the twin who exposed the wedding fraud. But that's not how I want to be remembered. I want to be known for the work I do, the lives I help change, the difference I make in the world. Emma tried to steal my life by copying my appearance, never understanding that what makes us who we are goes far deeper than how we look. Last week, I gave a lecture at a law school about international human rights. A student asked me about the wedding incident, wondering if I regretted exposing my twin sister so publicly. "Sometimes," I told them, "the most important justice isn't in courtrooms or legal documents. Sometimes it's in forcing people to face the truth about who they really are." The wedding video still exists somewhere online, a reminder that you can't build happiness on lies, no matter how perfect they look on the surface. Emma learned that lesson the hard way, in front of 300 guests and a viral audience. But the real story isn't about the wedding that wasn't. It's about staying true to yourself, even when others try to steal or copy or erase who you are. It's about understanding that real love sees beyond appearance to the heart of who you really are. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.